Mad Cats. Won't be seen tonight, so we can bring you a very special episode of The Gen X Files. Welcome to The Gen X Files. I'm Jim.
I'm Adam.
And today's show is all about
All of me.
All of me. Why not take all of me? Can't you see I'm no good without you?
This is our third in our Steve's Hot Carl month, and the last time that Steve and Carl worked together.
Yeah, they got in a huge fight, and they never spoke again. It was all over Victoria Tennant.
Yeah, they were fighting over Victoria Tennant.
Now, this one, man, I was a little worried, but I love this movie. I think this cements Steve Martin as one of the greatest physical comedians of all time.
Yeah, I would go a step further and say he's one of the greatest actors of all time.
Well, that too, but the physical performance in this is, to me, one of the, if not the best comedic physical performance, just because it is so. We were talking about this yesterday, kind of comparing this to Jim Carrey.
Yeah.
You know, Jim Carrey's hilarious, but he's a goof, you know, whether it's Ace Ventura or Liar Liar, whatever.
Yeah.
He's always kind of winking at the camera, and there's always something about him. You know, there's this performance aspect that I see with him. And again, I think he's really funny.
He's very, very good at what he does.
Amazing at what he does.
Yeah.
But the difference to me is this performance by Steve Martin, when he's acting against himself, I really believe that Lily Tomlin's in there. Like, the subtle little, like, hand movements, the throwaway glance, just, it seems so real.
Yeah. I would agree. And not, you know, in Jim Carrey, like, there's times when he's a good actor, but he can't combine the physical comedy with the acting like Steve Martin can.
He doesn't have an inherent earnestness that I think Steve has. Steve Martin just seems, especially in these three movies, which are very tricky parts to play. Yeah. If you really dissect them.
Sure.
He does amazing work within the parameters of the most goofy scenarios ever.
Yeah. He knows how to stay grounded.
But to be able to have great chemistry with a brain in a jar. Or great chemistry with himself is really quite something.
Oh no, it's a wonderful performance. I think it's different enough from anything that Jim Carrey has done that I think comparing the two is like
apples and oranges. Sure. But I don't think that Martin gets his due as a physical comedian.
I agree. But he hasn't. This is definitely the peak of his physical comedy.
Right.
I mean, he did some in The Jerk and stuff, but obviously after this, there's less.
Even in Murders in the Building.
Yeah.
Only Murders in the Building, there is great physical comedy from him. It's 70-something years old. It never leaves your body, I suppose. But I remember seeing this film as a huge Steve Martin fan. I think I saw it with my mom, because I know my mom loves this movie too.
Yeah.
I was just blown away by his performance. And I know this is going to sound weird, but he should have been nominated for an Oscar. As much as I can't stand the Academy Awards, I think that performance was so difficult, you know?
Yeah.
And to pull it off, to have another body in your body, that's an old trope. We've seen it on TV, and
it's been overdone.
But I don't think it's ever been done that well.
No, I agree.
And this month has been so much fun.
Yeah.
Rediscovering these films, rediscovering how much I love these films.
Yeah.
And none of them were, Highlander or
no, thank God.
Lily Tomlin is also so great. Her performance is mostly just in a mirror or a voiceover.
Yeah.
But the moments where she confesses, the moment that she reveals her true self and how sad her life has been.
Very vulnerable, yeah.
It was so touching and done so well. And the crying and the way she conveyed to him the sadness of her life was really good. She is such a good actor.
She's amazing.
And they have a great chemistry.
Yeah. They really do.
And the two of them together was so much fun. I've always been a fan of Lily Tomlin. I love her stand-up. I had her albums. And her stand-up is mostly characters, Edith Ann and the phone lady and stuff. But I forgot just how pretty and amazing she was. I mean, not that it matters that she's pretty, but you know what I mean.
She's extremely talented.
She was a movie star, man,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
deservedly so. And one of the greatest comedic actors around as well.
Mm-hmm.
You know, from laughing all the way until Frankie and Johnny. What's that?
Yeah, the something in Frankie.
Yeah,
I don't remember.
We'll cover it
Yeah.
later. But you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Or 80 for Brady, which I haven't
Yeah,
seen.
yeah,
But my parents did.
Yeah.
Because they're in their 80s. I don't know if they like
it's
Brady.
required viewing. Yeah.
But I just love
she's
her
great,
so much.
and they're really great, and they managed to have amazing chemistry considering that they technically aren't in the same room together. Like they're
Only at the beginning,
yeah,
And the end.
and the end. But I mean, at the beginning, like she hated him,
Yeah.
and he was just like, "You're pointless," and then it was written really well. It was
Really well.
directed very well. They did an amazing job with this movie.
There was a lot of really subtle things that I loved about it. Like him standing up for himself and not
Yeah.
being milquetoast and not being
Yeah.
like, okay, whatever, Edith. And his boss not being like, they're fired. Being like, I like what you did there.
Yeah,
There
yeah,
were
exactly.
zags when they zig.
Yeah, exactly.
Which made it more interesting. And I think it had to be that way for the flow because this movie flows really well.
Oh, it does. It does.
It starts and it goes. It is ridiculous. Getting hit on the head with a bowl with a soul. Soul in a bowl.
Yeah. I mean,
Becky
the whole caveat of the movie is very ridiculous.
Yeah. Panka or Pancha, what's his name?
I don't remember.
Prakalasa.
Prakalasa. That's it. I had it backwards.
Richard
Praka.
Libertini is Prakalasa.
Praka,
Which
yeah.
I can't determine if it's funny or racist or maybe both. But
I think it was unintentionally racist, but
It was-
it was funny.
at the time, we all loved it, man. At the time, everybody was saying, Bakinbul.
There was
Budedina Bakinbul.
there was nobody back then to go like, that's not what Hindus are like.
Well,
Yeah.
exactly. I mean,
Not
look,
American media. That's for damn sure.
you had, an English white guy playing Gandhi, so...
Yeah. I mean, well, most of the subcontinent of Asia was played by white guys. So
Well, once you conquer the country, you're
Oh,
technically
God.
allowed to play
Murph.
to put white people in
Yeah.
non-white roles.
Doesn't make it any better.
Doesn't make it any righter.
It does not make it any brighter.
But yeah, look,
This movie's so good. It's
so
much fun.
good. And this month made me realize they don't make these kind of comedies anymore.
No, they really don't. Because I love that it's interesting watching the three together, like as we went,
Yeah.
because, and especially with The Jerk, because The Jerk was very much felt, even though it was released in '79, it felt like an '80s movie.
Yeah.
Like it was very ahead of its time, and obviously Dead Men Don't Wear Plaid was kind of its own thing, and
Yes.
then The Man with Two Brains was very much an '80s like kind of spoofish comedy.
Yeah.
This felt so like a mid '70s like drama.
Yeah.
Like but comedy, but like it was interesting how it was shot
Yeah.
and like how it wrapped up. It felt very 70s.
70s by way of like 40s or 50s, because I could
Yeah,
also see
yeah.
this with like Fred Astaire and
No, totally.
It has that old school feel to it that I
Right.
think Reiner brings to his stuff.
Yeah.
Like there's always a smattering or a touch of old Hollywood
Yeah. Oh yeah.
in
for
these films, especially Dead Men Don't Wear Plaid, since he
Yeah.
hired so many people from the old guard.
sure. Yeah.
But yeah, there is a magic between these two.
Yeah.
And it is the perfect combination of genius.
Right.
And like I said, I don't use genius very often, but I think in terms of both Carl Reiner and Steve Martin, especially Steve Martin,
Yeah.
genius is very apt. I mean,
Oh yeah. Yeah.
he is a artistic genius. I mean, it comes to writing and performing,
Yeah.
and the guy can do it all. He can juggle.
Yeah. Well, it's the first thing he learned how to do.
I know. God, I love him. And, Carl Reiner is one of the grandfathers of television comedy and sketch comedy. And
Yeah.
he helped shape. There would be no Saturday Night Live without him.
Oh,
there would be
no.
The Office without Carl Reiner.
Right,
and
right.
and to get these two powerhouse geniuses together that have such similar sensibilities
Yeah.
in terms of how gags work and how comedy works and how to weave through the story. These on the surface simplistic goofy comedies are actually pretty deep.
Oh, yeah.
And have
Oh,
a
yeah.
lot of moving parts.
Oh yeah.
And like you said, some truly brilliant acting from Steve Martin.
Oh, yeah.
You
Yeah.
cannot deny how great an actor he is in all three of these movies.
Oh, no, not at all. Not at all. He's amazing. He's absolutely amazing. And gotta be honest, I'm really sad that this was the last thing they did together.
So am I, because it really seemed like they got each other. And I think Carl Reiner, more than any other director that I've seen work with Steve Martin, brought out the best of Steve Martin. And knew how to get those little bits that we don't normally see.
Right.
He's like, look, I see talent that you probably don't see in yourself.
Yeah.
Let's pull it out. Let's challenge you.
Yeah.
And let's make the funniest effing films, of the decade.
Yeah. We can talk about at the end why we think that they parted ways, or it could be any multitude of reasons, but I really think that at the end of the day, Carl Reiner needed Steve Martin more than Steve Martin needed Carl Reiner.
Oh, of course.
Yeah.
Of course.
And because everything after this with Carl Reiner, his movies are great. And some movies that I didn't even realize it was him, like Summer School, which I loved that growing up. Had no idea it was Carl Reiner.
Yeah, me too.
And there's some stuff after, but like they were never quite as good.
No, and you're absolutely right. I mean, Steve Martin was at the peak.
And Steve Martin was just blowing up. Like, he
was a superstar.
Yeah.
A superstar.
Superstar. But but I think that Carl Reiner understood the fact that he was more near the end of his career while Steve Martin was near the beginning of his career, and I think that Carl Reiner was just kind of like, all right, man, like maybe he thought he was holding him back. Maybe he thought he was like, you're going to be better off like going and doing your own thing. And
maybe they just exhausted.
I mean, they did 3 movies together in 3 years.
Yeah.
Like that's just nonstop.
Maybe they couldn't figure out something else to work on. Maybe that's the thing.
Maybe just something else that didn't come up. Yeah.
For years, maybe they were looking for something else to do. But also, Martin has never been one to rest on his laurels. And he's never been one to stick in one place.
Right.
He's always moving. He's always changing. And not because of, I smell a difference in the air of box office and stuff.
No.
It's because he chases after whatever gooses him
Yeah.
creatively, whether it's writing plays or books or...
Yeah, because, I mean, his first play wasn't until, 1990, I think? 1991?
Yeah.
Like, that's pretty late in your life to suddenly be like, I'm going to write plays.
Right. And then write a brilliant play.
And then, write an amazing play.
And an amazing book. And then, also one of the best banjo players ever.
The weirdest third act.
Weird.
Become a weird bluegrass superstar.
It's why I love him so much.
Yeah, he's fascinating. He's
absolutely fascinating. People really... He also seems to be a very interesting person. Like, I don't know very much about him. He seems like he doesn't suffer fools lightly. And he doesn't seem very goofy or...
Yeah.
But he doesn't seem like a dick. He just seems kind of serious about what he does, which I get.
Yeah. He's interesting. He's just very interesting. And it's weird. I mean, especially the whole Victoria Tennant thing, like it's interesting. But and we'll find this out as we talk, but Victoria Tennant saw something in him immediately.
Oh yeah.
And was like, all right, this is it.
Yeah.
Like he has to have that magnetic personality that you just want to be around.
He has animal magnetism.
Yeah.
But he has that thing that not every actor or performer has, but he has that you want to get to know him, you know?
Yeah.
He has an aura of whatever it is, whether it's true or not,
Right.
But I can... Look, if I was on one of his movies, I would have lost my mind,
Oh, yeah.
I was, if I did the part... we were talking about, what's his name from... Reanimator, Jeffrey Combs.
Jeffrey Combs, yeah.
If I were Jeffrey Combs, I would have been talking about that for the rest of my life.
For years,
that I got to make Steve Martin laugh or work with him. I think also somebody who is that well respected and is that good at what he does, you kind of want to impress him, or you kind of want to make sure that he knows you're doing as much work as he is.
Right.
And I think he probably expects that too.
Yeah. I mean, he is definitely an incredible creative force, and I think that creative energy is what attracts a lot of very talented creative people to him.
Yes.
Like they see that and they feel that, and it's like, I want to work with him. I want to be around him.
Tina Fey, always working with him. I mean, a lot of people from Saturday Night Live, because he's hosted that show
a billion times, and
always funny.
Oh yeah, he's great.
But yeah, I mean, I'm very sad that I didn't get in get my due in comedy or whatever because I never got to work with him. My 3 biggest regrets, I'd say, is not being able to work with Harrison Ford, Clint Eastwood, or Steve Martin.
All right.
So listen up, boys. Let's do something together.
All 3 of them are still alive.
Yeah, barely for one of them.
Barely. Well, yeah.
They're all pushing,
pretty up there.
Yeah, I know. I better get my ass together.
Yeah. All right, well, let's get into it.
Let's do it.
All right. Take yourself back. 1984.
Yeah, it's just like the book.
Just like the book. Take yourself back to the book. No. September 14th, the first annual MTV Music Video Awards are held in New York City. Herbie Hancock wins the most awards with 5, and the Cars take the highest prize of Video of the Year for You Might Think. Much attention is garnered by Madonna's controversial performance of her hit single Like a Virgin, in which she rolls around on the stage revealing lacy stockings and garters and grinds her crotch against her veil.
You might think I'm crazy, but all I want to do... Oh, God, I love the Cars so much. I forgot about the Cars.
Yeah.
Rick Ocasek gave hope to all of us weirdos when he married... who was it? Was it Paula Peruskova?
Something.
One of those, I think it was her.
For some reason, Tanya Roberts popped in my head.
No. It was no. But those videos by the Cars basically made MTV.
Oh, yeah.
We were just so blown away by these crazy, fun, amazing videos. I love the Cars so much. And honestly, I forgot about the Cars until
Yeah, I mean, they were huge, so huge in the late 70s, early 80s, and then they just went away.
And he died, didn't he, Rick Ocasek?
Yes. I'm going to say yes. I don't remember, but I think so, yes.
He was so good.
Actually, I just got to notice that Herbie Hancock is playing at the Walt Disney Concert Hall or something.
Nice.
He's got to be in his 80s now.
Yeah, I love Herbie Hancock.
Yeah, he's great. He's genius, absolute genius.
And whatever. Madonna's performance now would be called quaint.
Yeah,
they could do it on the Disney Channel.
Yeah. Hey, it would literally, it's like, look, you're obviously doing this. It's not like you want to do this. You're doing it because you want attention.
And I applaud Madonna for forcing people to deal with sexuality, which is great. I mean, this country is the most prudish country. We need artists that push the boundaries.
We need more artists rubbing veils on their crotch.
Yes, thank you, Adam. Very, very succinct.
Putting that on a shirt.
Yeah. Good, I'll buy it.
September 20th, The Cosby Show debuts on NBC. Meanwhile, on ABC, the pilot episode for Who's the Boss is also broadcast.
Whoa.
What an amazing night.
Ageable. Bono.
Ugh.
Who's the boss?
I don't know which one of them is worse.
I do. It's Bill Cosby. Bill Cosby is worse.
It's close. It's real close.
No, it's pretty much miles apart.
well, to each their own.
Okay.
September 21st, the first compact disc manufacturing plant in North America opens in Terre Haute, Indiana. CDs have previously had to be expensively imported from Japan or West Germany. Bruce Springsteen's Born in the USA is designated as the first CD ever made in the United States.
I see what they did there.
It was Born in the USA, Jim.
Yeah. You know, so many people don't understand the true meaning of that song, by the way.
Yeah. I guess I don't either, because I don't listen to Bruce Springsteen.
Well, hey, man, he's the working man's hero.
Sure.
I don't listen to him either. But he is the working man's hero. Until he had $1 billion, then he's the billionaire's
If he had a better voice, I would listen to him.
Born in the USA house. Born in the USA.
Yeah, that's pretty close.
It's me, Bruce Springsteen.
Nails on a chalkboard.
Yeah.
I'm sure he's a fantastic person.
Thunder Road.
Yeah, nope. So that same day, September 21st, All of Me is released in theaters.
All of Me. Oh, man, is it singing show for me today, man. I should have got my little throat coat so I could...
Okay, all right. All of Me starts with the unpublished book Me Too by Ed Davis. That's TWO, Me Too. Get it?
Oh, yeah.
Get it? Davis lived outside of Seattle writing articles about computers. He never had any of his full-length novels published.
I wonder why.
Well, mainly because his literary agents sent Me Too to publishers and film producers at the same time. Michael Larson, one of Davis's literary agents, thought it would be a good vehicle for Katharine Hepburn and Lee Marvin.
Oh, I'm in your body now. Shut up, you bitch.
Wow. All right.
That was, they did a screen test. It just didn't work.
Me Too starts with a 99-year-old dowager who dies on the first page and is transferred to an aging derelict, hence the Hepburn Marvin casting wish.
All right.
Yeah, so I mean, it was more in line with the book.
I love Lee Marvin. I just don't see him as the perfect physical comedian.
Agreed.
But love me some Lee Marvin.
I don't, yeah.
Maybe if he was going to like punch and shoot his way through.
Maybe. Kings Road Productions bought the film rights for less than $100,000, and the literary agents stopped pushing it for publication.
Yeah, jerks.
Which is why it was never published. They hired Henry Olek to adapt the unpublished script. Olek had his screenplay A Different Story produced in 1978 about a gay woman who marries a gay man to keep him from being deported, only for them to fall in love.
Okay, well that's dumb.
Olek was actually an actor that appeared in movies like Evel Knievel in 1971, Roller Coaster in 1977, and Meteor in 1979.
Listen to our Meteor episode.
Olek still writes, but also owns Birds in Hollywood since 1994. The place that's right next door to UCB.
Yeah.
He owns it with his wife.
Oh,
I had
man.
no idea. Apparently he's there all the time.
That is a cash cow, baby. That place is always busy.
The food's really good there.
It is.
But the reason it's called Birds is because he loves animals, and like a portion of his proceeds goes to helping save animals in LA.
Nice.
He seems like a really good dude.
He does seem like a good dude.
It's unknown how much of Olek's writing was kept in All of Me, but it was enough to give him an adaptation by credit. Producers turned to David Alden Robinson to clean up and rewrite the script. Before All of Me, Robinson's only credit is a couple of episodes of Trapper John, M.D.
Ooh, offshoot of MASH.
Yeah. Oh, was it?
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah, because Trapper John was the first friend of Alan Alda, and then he left. And then instead of getting the actual actor who was really good, they got Pernell Roberts from Bonanza fame, or not Bonanza, Big Valley fame, to play the titular character.
Trapper John.
Yes.
It's one of those shows that has hovered around me for decades. I've never actually seen it. For some reason, I always thought it was somebody. Anyway.
No, it was just another.
I remember it being
procedure.
on when I was growing up, but I never watched it.
I did. I can't tell you an episode or a line. I just know that he was kind of bald, and I always kind of dug Pernell Roberts because I watched The Big Valley because of Lee Majors.
Right.
It all goes back to Lee Majors with me.
In 1984, along with All of Me, Robinson also had Rhinestone produced, co-written and starring Sylvester Stallone, co-starring Dolly Parton, and directed by Bob Clark.
That's a beautiful song by Stallone. And they call me Drinkenstein.
Drinkenstein, yeah. God, it's so bad.
Oh my God, it's so bad. Talk about a horrible singer.
Yeah, oh my God.
Lee.
Horrible.
I should have left it to Frank. Frank, she's a singer in the family. You should have had the pot. But, I just have the charismas I have.
Maybe Lee Marvin was his idol when it came to singing.
Willie Marvin, he was my singing coach.
Yeah, there you go.
Drinkenstein. It's a big hit.
Robinson would go on to write and direct Field of Dreams, getting an Oscar nom for Best Adapted Screenplay.
I love that movie still.
Yeah, it's really good.
It's been a while since I've seen it, but I do love that movie.
It's really good.
James Earl Jones is so good in that movie.
Yeah. And I actually really like Kevin Costner in it.
Me too.
He's pretty good.
And Gabby Hoffman.
And it was set in Iowa, and it was one of those, it was early enough that people were like, that was all Iowa became, was Field of Dreams.
Well, better than what better than what Iowa is now.
Well, it was not very good back then either. David Alden Robinson would also write Ghost Dad in 1990 and write and direct Sneakers in 1992.
The ghost dad of the dad of the ghost and the walking in and watching the changing of the girls.
It's crazy how you can have such a horrible follow-up to an amazing movie.
Yeah, Ghost Dad.
Going from Field of Dreams to Ghost Dad.
Rapist aside, Ghost Dad is a horrible movie. Look, it's no secret, I used to love Bill Cosby. I had a huge talent crush on him. Didn't know he was a rapist, but...
well, nobody did.
But even my fandom of him, like, I loved him so much. Comedy albums, all the movies. I could not watch any of these awful movies that they put him in the 80s, like Leonard Part 6 or Ghost Dad or...
He was not feature film material.
Not anymore. He was when he was a young, tough I Spy,
Yeah, but it was definitally not for the 80s.
Take the money and run, baby. Him and Sidney Poitier.
Oh yeah.
Love that movie. But yeah. Oh, God. F you, Bill Cosby. F you for ruining me.
Awful, awful man. In more recent years, David Alden Robinson created the TV show The Good Fight, the offshoot of The Good Wife, running for 6 seasons and 60 episodes.
I've never seen any of The Goods.
No, neither have I.
Heard they're good, though.
Yeah, yeah. They're good. The good. Yeah.
Yeah, goods.
One of the first changes Robinson made was to make the two leads younger. The producers originally considered Chevy Chase and Goldie Hawn before it fell into the hands of Carl Reiner and Steve Martin.
Now, as a huge fan of the Hawn Chase oeuvre,
Yeah.
I kind of would have liked that, but I do not think Chevy Chase would have been a goof. It would have not been anywhere near as heartfelt and
No, he would have been more performative, like a Jim Carrey.
yeah. It wouldn't have, this is going to sound weird, but it wouldn't have been as realistic.
yeah. Well, not as grounded. I mean, that's the beauty of Steve Martin.
Yeah.
Like he makes you believe that he's literally has someone else inside of him.
Because he's such a good
He's
actor.
so good. So good. Everything. So Steve Martin was cast as Roger Cobb, the lead. Martin was drawn to the character of Roger Cobb. He said,
This man is not an idiot. He is a contemporary person with some brains. He's not naive or a victim of circumstance. He's an intelligent man who happens to get caught in a disaster. That's a big difference between this role and any other part I've played. For the first time, I'm in a story with a beginning, middle, and an end. It's old-fashioned and solid. The movie was like going to school. I learned a lot about structure and character.
yeah, he always learns. It's so great.
But that's why he's so
grows.
good.
Yeah, he grows so well.
He uses art as a tool to move forward as a human being.
Right.
As to test himself and to push himself rather than, just being
Yeah,
a manufactured movie star like
Right.
a Rock or,
Right.
Kevin Hart.
Martin has said with a bit of sarcasm that,
My mature film career started with All of Me and ended with LA Story.
yeah.
Well, yeah, I mean, but that's not true.
No, that was obviously being very sarcastic.
But
yes.
he's funny.
During that period, Martin starred in Three Amigos in 1986, which he also wrote and executive produced.
Listen to our Three Amigos show.
Little Shop of Horrors, also in 1986.
Yeah, Cams. Had a cameo.
Yeah. Roxanne in 1987, which he also wrote and executive produced.
I'm so excited to do that movie. Oh, God.
I haven't seen that in a long, long time.
I just remember adoring that movie.
Yeah,
Adoring
yeah.
it. And his, again, different than anything he'd ever done.
Yeah.
And absolutely straight in the fact that he's got that big nose. It's, everything I think about him,
He pushes himself. It's really nice. Yeah. Planes, Trains, and Automobiles, also in 1987.
brilliant. Listen to our Planes, Trains, and Automobiles show.
Dirty Rotten Scoundrels in 1988, co-starring Michael Caine.
Such a fun movie.
Yeah,
I love them together. And I've said this before. Check out the original with David Niven and Marlon Brando playing the part of
Steve Martin.
Yeah. Parenthood in 1989.
Great.
Fantastic. My Blue Heaven in 1990.
As I watched that movie more, I appreciate it more. It was hard for me at first to get used to him with the accent and the
It was
hair and
very,
the head.
very different from what he's done before.
But good for him for taking
Yeah.
a risk. And I got to say, Rick Moranis,
So
super awesome in
brilliant.
that.
Yeah.
And those two together, too. Again,
Yeah,
great.
Yeah. Along with LA Story in 1991, which he also wrote and executive produced, he was in Father of the Bride and Grand Canyon.
All those
Jim's
movies,
favorite movie.
effing hate Grand Canyon
I
so
for
much.
some reason always think Grand Canyon's like late 90s. I was surprised and I was like, oh, it's 91.
Oh, it is
For
so
whatever reason, yeah.
heavy-handed. Ugh, the Danny Glover and Kevin Kline is so cringy. About,
really?
I'm gonna
Yeah.
have a black friend,
Oh,
and then everything about the movie is absolutely insulting to every human being's intelligence who ever lived.
Yeah. I love LA Story. It is one of my favorites. That's the reason that I fell in love with Steve Martin.
Me too,
LA
and
Story.
Sarah Jessica Parker too.
Oh, yeah. Sandy.
Sandy with a
Big S, little A, little N, big D, little I, and 2 E's or something.
Something. It's like, oh, Sandy.
And there's a star over the top. It's like, oh, okay. Yeah, she was so brilliant in that movie.
That and Bowfinger, perfect double feature, and he really lampoons L.A. really well.
Oh, yeah,
in
yeah.
2 different decades.
Right.
He
right.
nailed the '80s excess of Los Angeles in L.A. Story and the ridiculousness of it, and then a completely different decade with Bowfinger and lampoons Hollywood in a completely different way.
Yeah.
And brilliantly both times.
Yeah. Both of them are brilliant movies. Amazing movies. Martin would continue to write, having his first play produced, Picasso de la Pina Gilles, in 1993 at the Steppenwolf Theater Company in Chicago.
Have you seen that?
Yes, I have.
It's great.
Yes, I have. I saw the regional production up here. Yeah, it was done really well.
Yeah.
It's such a good play.
I saw a friend of ours in it.
Yeah.
And it was good. It was like a community theater production, but community theater in LA is actually good theater.
Well, I would call that more regional theater because they do pull in from everywhere.
Right.
He would write more films, A Simple Twist of Fate in 1994, loosely based on the novel Silas Marner by George Eliot.
Yes, that's what I meant. I thought it was something else. I thought it was Brecht, but it wasn't. But it's basically the miser. You know, the man with the gold and finds the baby. It's a really sweet little movie. Again,
it is. Yeah.
A completely if you go through his filmography as we're doing, you can see all of the risks and zigs and zags and departures he made.
He doesn't just keep doing the same thing.
Does not rest on his laurels.
He does not rest on his laurels. Bowfinger in 1999, Shopfinger in 2005.
Shopfinger. That's the weirdest James Bond movie.
Shopgirl in 2005, based on his own 2000 novella.
Shopfinger, he's the villain in the James Bond movie, and what he does is he gets everybody's information, and then with his shop finger, he goes onto Amazon and uses everybody's different accounts to steal.
I'm buying you gifts.
No, he's stealing from your accounts, Adam.
Have you ever read Shopgirl?
Yes.
It's very good.
Very good. I also saw the movie with Claire Danes.
Yeah, it's very good.
But the book it's a quick read. It's really
short.
good.
But I mean, but it's so good. It's done really well.
A very interesting take on the older man, younger woman trope.
Yeah. He would write The Pink Panther in 2006 and The Pink Panther 2 in 2009.
I need to see those again. At least the first one.
I totally did not realize he wrote them.
I didn't either, and that's why I kind of want to see them. And I think that's why he did it, because he realized that if he was going to take over the mantle of Pink Panther from the absolute genius Peter Sellers, he would have to do it himself.
Right.
He would have to figure out, he'd have to crack the nut himself.
Yeah.
And ultimately, no, they're not better than the originals, but they're different and fun enough. And that's the thing, is he had to make Clouseau his own.
Right.
And I think he did.
No, yeah. I remember seeing the first one and not hating it.
I was surprised. I was pleasantly surprised.
I didn't see the second one, but I totally didn't realize that he wrote them.
But it was one of those things, too, where I'm like, what? He's doing what?
Yeah.
But then you see it and you're like, okay. That's the thing, is like a lot of times with him, it's like, what?
Right.
But then
What?
The follow through is much better than the idea.
Right. And of course, he created and is writing Only Murders in the Building since 2021. Martin has gone on record saying that he's not taking on any new parts, but will continue to appear in Only Murders in the Building for as long as it runs.
Well, it needs like 75 more seasons.
I know. I'm going to be sad when that finally gets canceled.
Well, I think...
Or when it finally ends.
I think they'll be ending it.
Yeah. It's still huge.
Yeah.
Lily Tomlin was cast as Edwina Cutwater.
Oh, Edwina Cutwater. Oh, she was meanie.
Oh, she was. God, she was so... it is the most amazing character arc for her character in this movie.
And the part is so different from her and anything she's really played. This dowager, she's not old in this.
No, she's just very sickly.
But she's got that... She definitely has captured the loneliness, the sadness, and the armor of acerbicness.
Right.
That would come from this type of life.
Yeah.
A privileged sad girl.
Yeah.
Who owns all the horses in the world but can never ride them.
Yeah. It's a very tragic character.
But I've never seen anything before since, and she's a brilliant actor. I mean, you watch Nashville, you watch Frankie and Gracie, you watch anything that she's been in. 9 to 5, I don't care.
Oh, yeah.
She's a brilliant actor, a brilliant comedian, and this is unlike anything I can remember her doing.
Yeah.
And so successful. And you really hate her at the beginning, but that one scene when they have that talk in the mirror, and she does have that emotional breakdown about why she's so sad. But the beauty is they're friends, and then she F's it up. In the court, she F's it up because she doesn't understand the machinations of life.
Right.
She sees things as black and white.
Right.
It is beautiful the way that the relationship kind of bounces around, and it seems very organic. And I believe in this friendship between these two entities.
Yeah, completely. I believe that he eventually, at the third act, he wants to save her and not have her be a bunch of plants. It's amazing.
It is. They fall in love, and it's the scene in the bathroom is so great. It is such a great because the two of them are in it.
Yeah.
And he's looking in the mirror when he's asked to pee, and she grabs it too hard, and her look on her face when she's like looking down, and then when they're peeing and they're both looking, it is such a brilliant scene. And luckily, it looked like that they got to act together on the mirror scenes.
I think most of the mirror scenes was a false set on the side.
Of course, because it didn't have digital back then.
No. I think there was maybe once where there was a green screen shot of her in, but like for the most part, it was them acting against each other.
But she has had such a storied career. People forget what a impactful stand-up she was. One of the first real women superstar stand-up comedians. And deservedly so. Counterculture, amazing character work, and she wasn't a joke teller. Most of her stuff was just characters.
It was story based. Yeah, and
more of a one-woman show.
Yeah.
Than a bada boom, bada beam, bada bum.
Right.
Oh, God, I love her.
She entered college as a biology major, but an audition for a play sparked her interest in theater.
Good.
After graduating, she started doing stand-up comedy in Detroit and New York City.
Which is so brave, man. Women weren't doing comedy back then. Very few were.
It was hard.
Yeah. You had like Joan Rivers, and you had Elaine May, and you had some people, but they a lot of times started out as duos with a dude or,
and most of them were writers, behind the scenes writers, and Yeah. And her first appearance was on The Merv Griffin Show in 1965, her first TV appearance.
Ooh, Merv Griffin for my last movie.
I just love to kill. I just love killing.
Well, I guess that's over now.
In 1969, after making appearances on a few shows, Tomlin joined NBC's sketch comedy show Rowan and Martin's Laugh-In.
Sock it to me.
She was an instant hit with audiences, creating a bevy of characters that she would take with her after she left the show in 1974.
Yeah, like Edith N. That's the truth.
Yeah.
Or the ringy-dingy, one ringy-dingy, two ringy-dingy.
I said ringy-dingy a lot growing up.
We all did.
In 1972, Tomlin released 2 comedy albums. This is a recording, which topped out at number 15 on the Billboard 200, and she won the Grammy for Best Comedy Album that year.
Great album. The Old Man had it, my real dad, and it was part of the collection. I remember listening to her and just being entertained. No, just listening to her and being blown away by her character.
Oh, yeah, she's great. And That's the Truth, which hit number 41 in the Billboard Top 200, which was nominated for Best Comedy Album the next year, but ended up losing.
That's the one that was my favorite.
And That's the Truth.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's the truth. Edith Ann. And she's sitting in that giant chair.
Yes, yes.
She's so good.
Tomlin made her feature film debut in Robert Altman's Nashville in 1975, for which she was nominated for an Academy Award for Best Supporting Actress, but would lose to Lee Grant for Shampoo.
We'll cover Nashville. I know you haven't seen it.
Yeah.
We'll definitely cover Nashville because everybody and their mother is in it.
Yes, it has a cast of literally 40,000.
We'll do an Altman month because he definitely deserves at least 1 month, if not 6.
Yeah, well, I mean, considering he made like 1 billion movies.
Yes, with 1 billion people in them.
He literally worked with everyone in Hollywood.
Except me.
Yeah, well.
That was one of my saddies.
Yeah.
I was such a huge fan of his, and back when I was auditioning, I just wanted to get an audition with him so badly, and then he died, and I was just so sad.
Sad, yeah. A lot of people were.
I was sad for my own selfish reasons, Adam.
She appeared in 9 to 5 with Dolly Parton and Jane Fonda in 1980.
I love that movie so much.
Such a good movie.
She is great as the single mom. They're all great. They each carve out their niche and their part perfectly. Dolly Parton is so great as the put upon sex object.
Yeah.
And Lily Tomlin is the single mom, and Jane Fonda as the prissy new girl.
Yeah.
I remember the scene of them getting high, and it is one of my favorite stoner scenes ever. They're chasing around Dabney Coleman, like he's a deer in the headlights. Oh, baby.
In 1981, she played 3 roles in The Incredible Shrinking Woman, directed by Joel Schumacher and written by a longtime friend of Tomlin's, Jane Wagner.
I had no idea that Schumacher.
I didn't either. I honestly didn't even realize he was directing in 1981.
Yeah, neither did I.
I always think of him as being like a 90s.
yeah.
Yeah.
He was 16 years old when he
Yeah,
directed.
he was 4. Yeah.
But that movie, I remember really liking it, but it's such a weird movie. But I love shrinky things. I love big thing. Like when you used to go to when you used to go to Universal Studios, they had this plaza that had like a giant telephone, a rotary telephone that you could actually turn the thing, and a giant pencil, and all these giant things. And I've always been fascinated by shrinking down.
Right.
This is so weird.
Oh, God.
But one of my biggest dreams as a kid was to be shrunk down and then be tiny with a regular sized pizza and then eating my way through this giant pizza.
Like, how tiny would you be?
Super tiny that I would not be able to eat.
You would eat 4 bites.
None of it makes any sense, Adam. Okay? None of it. I used to also...
I just want a pizza blanket.
I used to have this... One of my best friends when I was younger, I'd be like, I wish I had... I would... You know how you would draw up your base or your perfect little house or your dream... compound, or not house, because we're boys, so it was compound or base.
Right.
But I would always tell my best friend, be like, and then we'll have a room that's filled with McDonald's cheeseburgers. And he would always say, I don't like cheeseburgers. I like hamburgers. And I'd be like, okay, well, fine. We'll have some hamburgers in there, too, but it'll be filled with cheeseburgers and hamburgers.
Exactly 2 hamburgers for you.
For you idiot. But yeah, man, I was obsessed with weird shit like that.
I really liked The Incredible Shrinking Woman. I thought it was done really well. It's an offshoot of The Incredible Shrinking Man, which is written by Richard Matheson.
Right.
Yeah.
Which was like a 60s movie, wasn't it?
50s.
50s?
Yeah. Well, I mean, the novel came out in the 50s, and then there was a movie, and then they did The Incredible Shrinking Woman in 59 or something.
Shrinking Woman was more of a comedy. Shrinking Man was not.
Yeah. Shrinking Woman was definitely more comedy.
And the thing that I loved about it was the conceit was it was all of these chemicals and all of the preservatives and crap from food that conglomerated together and somehow made this goo that made her small.
Yeah. It's good. I need to see the Lily Tomlin Incredible Shrinking Woman again. It's been a long time.
We need to do a Tomlin month. We'll do this. We'll do 9 to 5.
Yeah.
And something else.
Yeah. Jane Wagner, the friend of hers that wrote The Incredible Shrinking Woman, also co-wrote and co-directed Tomlin's Broadway debut, appearing nightly in 1977.
Nice.
They would collaborate again in 1985 with the one-woman show that Jane Wagner wrote for Tomlin called The Search for Signs of Intelligent Life in the Universe.
Absolutely effing brilliant, man. Have you seen that?
No. Well, I take that back. I'm pretty sure that I've seen the
special
TV version.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know that they bring it back once in a while because it's been put up downtown a couple times since then with various actors.
Yeah.
The show would win Tomlin a Tony Award for Best Actress in a Play.
So deserved. She is a comedy philosopher, man.
Yeah.
If anybody is,
yeah. Later, it would air as a TV special in 1983 and be nominated for a Primetime Emmy.
Yeah, that's where I saw it.
Over her career, Tomlin has been nominated for 25 Primetime Emmys.
Good Lord.
She won 2 for her TV special Lily in 1973, 1 for Outstanding Special and 1 for Outstanding Writing.
Nice.
1 for her TV special Lily Tomlin in 1976 for Outstanding Writing. 1 in 1978 for the TV special The Paul Simon Special for Outstanding Writing.
Ugh, they give everybody a special.
Everybody. It didn't matter. 1 for her TV special Lily, sold out in 1981 for Outstanding Special.
They're not that special if everybody gets one at them.
I know, well, yes.
They should just call them de riggers.
Yes, the Paul Simon de riggers.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay. 1 for An Apology to Elephants in 2014 for Outstanding Voiceover.
Nice. I love the title of that, by the way.
It was an animated show. She would also win a Daytime Emmy for her voiceover work on The Magic School Bus in 1995, the beginning of being nominated 4 years in a row.
She's brilliant.
Over other TV shows that she's been nominated for include...
And the band played on Homicide, Life on the Street, The Celluloid Closet, Damages, and Grace and Frankie 4 times.
Yeah, I just wanted to include that because I didn't want people to think that it was just her specials that got her Emmys, or got nominated for Emmys, because she is an actor. She is an actor and has been nominated many times for her acting.
Homicide, Life on the Street, I know I talk about this all the time. Some of the greatest performances by comedic actors I have ever seen. One of the greatest performances of Robin Williams is him playing a tourist whose family gets murdered.
Oh, yeah.
And it's not like anything he's ever done. I can't remember what she did in this, but I am like 2 hairs away from my Homicide rewatch. Every time we talk about it,
you get that itch.
Oh, baby.
Tomlin is one of the few performers to be nominated for the EGOT and is just 1 Oscar win away from becoming the 28th person to win the EGOT.
Let's get her there.
I know.
Come on, quit doing these 80 for Brady craps. You're an amazing actor. Let's do something. We have Alzheimer's. Get you a...
She needs to get a good, like, hefty, like, best supporting actor or actress nominee and get her a win.
Get her, make her, like, here. Okay, here's the pitch for her Oscar win. So she's an aging stage performer.
Okay.
Who is suffering from dementia. It's this early stages of dementia, Alzheimer's. And she's trying to hide it because she wants to keep doing this play or it's doing something because she needs the insurance. Like maybe it's a movie, she needs her SAG insurance or whatever. So she has to hide it, and it'll be a tour de force performance, and her son wants to put her in a home, but he's not a great guy, and oh baby, just give her something to chew on. I think it's gonna be perfect.
Yeah. I think that'd be great.
And we call it The Forgotten Play. I don't know. We'll work on the title. We'll workshop it.
She most recently can be seen in the 2023 film 80 for Brady, co-starring Jane Fonda, Rita Moreno, and Sally Field.
Man, she and Jane Fonda are like the female version of Martin and Short.
Yeah, they work together quite a bit.
They have great chemistry, too.
They do.
I mean, really they are, because they started with 9 to 5, and then Frankie and Gracie, and then 80 for Brady, and I think they did another movie, too, recently. There's all these, old broad movies of these, brash old broads going to do something weird.
Yeah, there's a lot of those. But hey, good. I'm glad that they're working.
Oh, no, I'm super happy. I think that the older crowd is criminally underrepresented in film, and we don't have enough interesting films about older people that isn't, we've got to put daddy in a home.
Yeah.
That's why
there was a spate for a while where it was old men getting revenge on people.
Well, that's true.
But that didn't last very long.
And we had that June Squibb.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Oh,
I forget the name of it. It was so good.
Madeline Smith was cast as Peggy Schuyler, the Steve Martin girlfriend at the beginning of the film.
God, I had such a crush on her as a kid.
Yeah, she was very pretty.
She's one of the only women that had the cleft chin that it works perfectly.
Yeah,
It's so... Usually it's just dudes,
Kirk
Douglas.
Chevy Chase.
Or Chevy Chase, the dimple in the chin. But man, it just added to how absolutely gorgeous she is.
Yeah. Smith made her feature film debut in Urban Cowboy, starring John Travolta in 1980.
Yeah, everybody that watches that movie is like, I should have picked her.
Yeah. Yes. She then appeared in a lot of TV and TV movies before being cast in All of Me. She was in so many TV movies. Despite being third to build in the film, she only has 3 scenes and a total screen time of approximately 3 minutes and 2 seconds.
Well, yeah. Well, she was probably the biggest actor other than him. And
Lily Tomlin.
And Lily Tomlin, I mean, most known, I would say.
Yeah, I mean, yes, I think for American audiences, yes, I agree. In 1984, along with All of Me, Smith would appear in 2010, the year we make contact, which we talk about constantly.
I need to see that again. That's Roy Scheider. It's the sequel to 2001. And the only thing I remember are the dolphin. Like he had like a house with a pool that goes inside, outside, and he had a dolphin that talked to him maybe? That was his buddy or pet?
I think.
I don't know. That's all I remember.
Yeah, it was very much lacking the Stanley Kubrick.
Yes.
It's like, this movie seems weird.
Well, I'm curious to see it again.
Yeah, same. I remember not disliking it. It just wasn't the original.
I was so young when I saw it. I don't know if I understood it.
That too, yes. Smith also appeared in Funny Farm with Chevy Chase in 1988.
Which if I remember correctly, which sometimes I don't, was pretty good. It was one of the better, lesser Chevy movies.
Yeah. I know I've seen it. I don't really remember.
It has a ridiculous conceit. It's Chevy Chase, I believe, is a writer, and they moved to the country so he could write his great American novel.
Right.
And then everything sucks. And they hate the town, and the town hates him, so they come up with this scheme to pretend that it's the greatest Christmas town or the greatest town in the world.
Right.
To sell the house, which makes no sense. It's just all, one convoluted thing after another. But it was a pretty decent Lester Chevy film, if I
Yeah,
think, if I can remember correctly.
I wouldn't mind seeing it again. Yeah.
We'll cover it.
Yeah.
We'll put it on the back burns.
Right. Smith guest starred in a 1989 episode of Cheers. She was actually the first choice of the creators to replace Shelley Long before they end up going with
Kirstie Alley.
Kirstie Alley.
She would have been great.
She would have been fantastic.
Although Kirstie Alley is weird and unsettling as she got towards the end of her life, she was so brilliant on that show.
She was great on that show.
Brilliant.
She was a perfect foil for Ted Danson.
Yes, and an amazing comedic actor.
Yeah,
Just so...
Very funny.
Oh, my God.
Smith would retire from acting in 1984 to focus on raising her family.
Cool.
That was it. She was done.
I think they were done. That was also back when Hollywood was basically like, boom, put a stamp on your head. 39.
Yeah.
You're done.
Oh, well, you've appeared in 3 movies over 2 years. You're done.
Well, you're
People want to
39.
see the 3-year-ago version of you.
Now that you're 39, you can either quit the business or become a grandma. You can play the grandmas.
I always, for some reason, whenever I think of that, I always think of Gretchen Mol. Gretchen Mol is the perfect example to me. She was in so many movies between like 1993 and 1996, and then just disappeared off the face of the planet.
She was amazing on Boardwalk Empire.
Yeah, I mean, she's obviously been working.
Well, she came back, but I know exactly what you're saying.
But it's like her feature film career just died.
Yeah.
And it was like, she's so good.
That's the problem when you're the ingenue.
Yeah.
It's like when you're the ange old, it doesn't translate as well.
But good point.
Thanks, I made that up.
Victoria Tennant was cast as Terry Hoskins.
I'm Terry Hoskins. Hello.
It's so funny because the whole time I was writing this before we watched the movie, I was like, I don't remember who Victoria Tennant is. Like, I know who it is. The second she started talking, it all came back. I was like, her voice was just such like a trigger in my mind of like, oh my God, that's Victoria Tennant.
Well, she's got a very
she's just very breathy.
distinctive voice.
Very breathy.
Oh, yes. She was really good, too. It's
She
like,
was so good in this.
thought she was sweet.
So did not see that twist. So did not.
She's bad.
Yeah. Tennant is a British actor that made her film debut in The Ragman's Daughter in 1972, a romantic dramedy about lovers from 2 different classes in England.
Yes, class struggle.
Yeah, and then she wasn't in anything for like 8 years. I think she was pretty young in it.
Maybe she did theater or something.
Yeah, well, I think she did like school and stuff, and yeah. Tennant was in a few movies in the early 80s before being cast in the 1983 ABC miniseries The Winds of War, receiving a Golden Globe nom for Best Supporting Actor.
Isn't that Herman Woke?
Yes, it is.
Herman Woke's The Wind of War.
Yeah, The Winds of War. Yeah. She would also appear in the sequel, War and Remembrance, in 1988. Which was like 14 episodes long or something.
Miniseries were out of control, man, but they were gold. Miniseries were events. We don't have those anymore. It's kind of sad that we don't have any of these must-see events.
We don't have to because this is all streaming is now.
I know, but it's kind of sad because it used to be like,
Oh my God, did you see
I agree.
The Winds of War?
There is no more water cooler talk anymore at all.
No, it's not. It's all politics and BS.
If you ask somebody if they've seen something and go, yeah, it's on my list, I haven't gotten to it yet.
Yeah, I'm binge watching The Office again for the 18th time.
It's my safe space.
Yes. So, I can't really argue that.
Yeah. Tennant and Steve Martin started dating after shooting All of Me, and they would marry in 1986.
Ooh.
Reportedly, Tennant was so smitten with Martin that on the first day of production, she rushed home to tell her male roommate that he had 3 days to move out.
Wait, what? I have to move out. I'm in a movie with Steve Martin. He's going to be my lover. What?
What?
What am I supposed to do? I can't move out. You have 3 days, or I'll kill you.
Ouch.
All right, lady.
Tennant would star in Flowers in the Attic as the daughter who has to move in with her kids into her evil mother's house.
I remember my grandmother reading that book, and then I picked it up and started reading it. It's about incest.
Yeah, it's pretty awful.
If you have a sister, there is nothing more disturbing than incest. Or reading about incest or movies about incest.
I'm just going to make the bold statement that incest in general is pretty bad.
Yeah, but yes, you're right. But if it's like, I don't really, get, well, yes, I get skeeved out, but if it's like brother to brother,
you're perfectly fine with it?
I'm cool with it, man.
Then that's their right. That's their right.
That's just 2 men being men. But
how dare love is love. How dare you?
I've always been super grossed out about incest. I just think, how? I mean, I guess with the Flowers in the Attic, it makes sense because it was in the attic,
kind of forced into it. I guess
It was just kind of what else are we gonna do? Let's just F.
Yeah. Who else am I going to have sex with? No.
I think they had a baby, if I remember.
It was. I know I've seen this, and I know I read the book. I think I blocked most of it out. So
It was everybody was reading this book.
yeah.
It was so controversial. It was just
Yeah,
one of those staples
Yeah.
that you had, like Winds of War, or
right.
you know,
Yes,
Roots.
everybody was talking about it.
Everybody had a copy of that.
Everybody wanted to read about incest.
Roots and Flowers in the Attic are very different books, though. I just want to point out.
Really?
I don't know. There's probably some
I think they
incest
would make
in
a good
Roots,
double
but
feature.
It would be a long ass double feature.
In 1990, Tennant would appear in a feature film adaptation of The Handmaid's Tale by Margaret Atwood, adapted by Harold Pinter, starring Natasha Richardson, Faye Dunaway, and Robert Duvall.
Yeah.
And I did not know that movie existed until literally right now.
I knew that movie existed. I didn't remember that it was A Handmaid's Tale. I just thought it was something.
The funny thing is the poster is like Natasha Richardson, like all sexy and stuff on it.
Yeah.
She plays Allred, and it's so different from the
Yeah.
TV series and like how they're promoting the TV series.
Oh yeah, well you should check it out.
Yeah, I've never actually, I haven't watched this TV show either. It's something we've been meaning to watch for a while.
Same.
There's a new season of it coming out, which
I guess.
is surprising because I think the last season was like 5 years ago.
Oh, guess what is coming back in May? Poker Face.
Oh yeah, I saw that.
So happy.
I was excited about that. Yeah. But I'm very curious. I love Margaret Atwood. I love the book is amazing.
Yes.
I am a huge fan of Harold Pinter. Like I have no idea that I didn't realize this movie existed.
Well, let's cover it. We'll put it on.
We'll have to. Yeah. She would appear again. Tennant would appear again with Martin in L.A. Story in 1991. Which is what I remember her most from.
Yeah, she's the reporter or something.
Yeah,
right?
that kind of love interest.
He's
yeah.
but he kind of takes her through L.A. She's
Yeah.
the impetus of
of the whole
Yeah.
Sadly, they would divorce in 1994.
If I remember correctly, it was not good. It was
No,
pretty
I'm pretty
contentious.
sure. Yeah.
I think one of the characters in Bowfinger might be her as well.
Oh, that wouldn't surprise me.
He got a lot of revenge on
wouldn't-
his old lovers.
Wouldn't
Because he based the Heather Graham character on Anne Heche.
Yeah.
Because she was dating him, and then she
Right,
was lesbian,
right.
and so it was
Yeah.
basically the same thing.
Right.
That she was effing her way to a career.
Right. Until she
God rest her soul.
crashed her car on drugs.
So sad.
Yeah. I forgot she died in that. I
Horribly, too, by the way. Died in
totally forgot she
flames.
died.
Yeah. I think she survived for a little while, too, after that.
Worse. The last credit that Tennant has is Alex on the List, starring Jennifer Morrison and Patrick Fugit, which was released in 2018, but had been filmed in 2013.
Okay.
So she hasn't made anything since. I think she's retired and just kind of is whatever.
All right.
Yeah, but she's still around. She's just not really doing anything in the entertainment field anymore.
She doesn't have to.
No.
Oh, she looks crazy. Have you seen her?
No. Oh, wow. Yeah.
Oh, she looks good
No,
there.
she looks better there.
Oh, but not there.
That one's not good. Yeah.
Oh, she had a lot of work done.
Richard Libertini was cast as Procalasa.
Beckenbull.
Beckenbull.
Edwina Beckenbull.
Libertini was an original cast member of The Mad Show, a 1966 off-Broadway musical comedy produced by Mad Magazine.
Yes!
Had no idea that existed.
Because Richard Libertini literally looks like a Don Adams character. If you
does.
just flipped his feet over the thing,
He really does.
He looks right out of a
could be,
Don
yeah.
Adams cartoon.
Two of his more memorable film roles came in the comedies Fletch in 1985, in which he played Fletch's doubting editor, a role he repeated in the 1989 sequel Fletch Lives.
That's my favorite role that he played. It is the put upon editor, the first one.
Yeah.
The second Fletch is
the
Garb.
second Fletch is not good.
But that's my favorite role of Libertini, I think, is
Yeah.
Fletch.
He was also in The In-Laws in 1979, in which he played General Garcia, an insane Latin American dictator whose closest advisor was a cartoon face drawn on his own hand.
Yes. Yes.
I don't know anything about this movie, but now I have to see it.
Oh, it's Alan Arkin and Peter Falk as the in-laws, by the way. So it is
Okay,
amazing.
I'm in.
It
I'm
is-
totally in. I'm
Oh.
going to find this and watch this. 'cause
We are covering
I am
this.
so in.
We're in-laws, yeah.
Oh my god. All right. I'm sold.
Poor Libertini was also another guy, vaguely ethnic looking, so he
Yeah.
had to play every type
was-
of
yeah.
non-white.
Yeah.
It's Hindu or Spanish, or
He could get away with it. Yeah.
but he was a brilliant actor.
Made the directors feel a little more comfortable casting a white guy.
Sure. Sure.
Well, I'm not sure what his ethnicity is, so I just thought,
Oh, he looks vaguely ethnic.
I believe him as a Hindu. He also portrayed Nosh, an electronics expert who is a childhood best friend of Burt Reynolds' character in Sharky's Machine in 1981.
Yes. Oh, we're doing Sharky's.
Oh, we got to cover Sharky's Machine.
That was Burt's directorial debut, if I think correctly.
Yeah, I think you're right, actually. Yeah.
Or one, no, not his debut, but he did direct it. I think his debut was the sequel to Gator.
No, you're right. You're right. Yeah. We have talked about that before. Yeah.
Don't want to besmirch Burt.
Don't want to disperse the sequel to Gator.
Yeah, I love Gator and its sequel.
Gator 2, Electric Gator-aloo.
No, it was something else. I don't think it was even called Gator.
No,
I think it was called
I
like
think you're right.
Hoedown and the Blowdown. Or,
Wow.
Or the...
So much better than my offer. On TV, Richard Libertini was a series regular in the first season of Soap as the Godfather.
Yes.
Which I still have never seen.
Soap is so good.
So good. He would also appear in Star Trek Deep Space Nine and Supernatural. Libertini passed away from cancer on January 7th, 2016 at the age of 82.
Oh, man, I didn't know he was gone.
Yeah.
And, God damn it, cancer.
Cancer.
What's wrong with you?
F cancer.
F cancer. I loved him so much. He was always good.
Yeah.
So funny. A talented guy that could just play anything. I mean, yes, Lassa is a bit of a,
Yeah.
amalgam of who knows what.
Yeah.
Beckenball. Edwina Beckenball. Look. Ring, 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 ring. The fact that he doesn't know what a toilet is a little bit insulting.
He was so fascinated by all the modern appliances and things.
Just a childlike wonder that he had about everything, which was kind of his character, was just a guru.
They heavily implied that he essentially lived on top of a mountain somewhere and had never been in society.
Which makes sense with the ring, ring, flushing the toilet and stuff. But he was just such a nice guy. Oh, he was a game for everything.
I love that they dressed him up at the end as a band member.
The three blind mice.
Playing the triangle.
And he is so, if you watch him in the background, he is so engaged.
So excited about it.
He is an amazing
He's
actor.
like, I have friends.
Yes. Oh, this is the most fun I've ever had. Beckenball.
Dana Elcar was cast as Burton Schuyler, Roger's boss. Elcar is a character actor that has appeared in over 180 films and TV shows.
Instantly recognizable. Solid dude.
Such a good actor, and so good in this.
Amazing, because the part is so funny.
He's so weird.
He's such a scumbag.
He's such a nice scumbag.
These women are so lonely. It's not like he's sleeping with younger women. It's all women older than him.
And it's his wife's lawyer.
Yes, he's altruistic. Oh, everybody needs love. It's like, ugh. But he is so solid. And it was zagging when zigging. The only time he got mad at Martin was when he blew the case. Rightly so. It was a very... The thing about these Martin Reiner collaborations is they're wacky and they're crazy.
Yeah.
But most of the characters don't respond in a cliched way.
Yeah.
It's more of a realistic.
Yeah.
Strangely enough.
Yeah. I think considering. Yeah.
That's what makes it work, is the balance between the absurdity and the banal. And
right.
I think that they do a great job of the balancing act in that, which is difficult.
Yeah. His most prominent roles were in the 1960s TV show Dark Shadows as the sheriff, appearing in 35 episodes.
Oh, did you ever used to watch that?
No, I never saw Dark Shadows. The thing I remember him from is in MacGyver as MacGyver's immediate supervisor, appearing in 126 episodes.
Right!
I loved him in MacGyver.
Get me a toothpick and a condom and 6 Rolos, and I'll disarm this bomb.
Elcar's final feature film was Inside Out in 1986, starring Elliot Gould. And here's the weird thing, is that he just stopped doing features.
Really?
His last feature was 86, and he just didn't do features again after that.
Didn't want to travel.
All TV.
Yeah. Easier to do TV, less of
it's much more steady, and
And as you get older, you don't want to be running around all the time. You want a nice stable.
Yeah.
I'll drive me to work a half an hour. I do my 6 hours and drive me home.
It was around that time when he got cast in MacGyver, so I'm guessing that he just kind of built off of that. And was like, all right.
And that's you have a solid job.
Yeah, exactly.
You don't need to do any other crap.
Right. His final TV appearance was on ER in 2002. On June 6, 2005, Elcar died from pneumonia at the age of 77.
Too young.
Yeah.
Which means, wait, when did he die?
2005.
At 77?
Yeah.
So he was 57 when he made this movie.
Correct.
Okay, so he's still older than me. It always fascinates me.
Yeah.
Now that I'm old, seeing people that I thought were really old in movies that are now younger than me is depressing.
Jason Bernard was cast as Tyrone Waddell, Roger's blind musician friend.
Oh, I love him so much.
He's so good. Bernard is most well known for his TV roles. He had a recurring role in Cagney and Lacey, and in the first season of Night Court as Judge Harry Stone's rival.
Oh, yeah, he was great.
So good in that, because he was such an asshole.
He sure was.
But he did it so well.
Again, why he's such a brilliant character actor. He can play the nicest guy and the jerkiest guy.
Oh, he was so good. He also appeared in the V miniseries and the sequel V: The Final Battle.
Yep.
He made appearances in
Starsky and Hutch, Flamingo Road, The Jeffersons, The Flash, Murder, She Wrote, Wise Guy, The Dukes of Hazzard, and Partners.
Bernard's first role in a feature film was a cameo in the Charles Bronson film Death Wish.
He's the guy who's like, you got death wish.
I'll grant you your wish.
I'll grant you your wish. Your death wish.
His first major role was in the 1974 movie Thomasine and Bushrod.
Okay.
Never heard of.
Weird title, too, by the way.
He later appeared in
Car Wash, War Games, No Way Out, While You Were Sleeping, and Blue Thunder.
Bernard also appeared in the video games Wing Commander 3, Heart of the Tiger, and Wing Commander 4, The Prince of Freedom, as Captain William Eisen. I distinctly remember him being in these games.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love the Wing Commander series.
He was really great in War Games.
Yeah.
No Way Out, too. I mean, in all these movies, and they were all very different parts that he played. He could play, the jazzy, blind street musician. He could play a general. He could play a judge. He could play anything. He was just one of those guys that had the gravitas, but the sensitivity to play up or down and everything in between.
He was an amazing, well-rounded actor.
Great. One of my favorite character actors.
His final appearance was in the 1997 film Liar Liar as Judge Marshall Stevens, to bring back Jim Carrey again.
Yeah.
Shortly after the filming of Liar Liar was completed, Bernard suffered a heart attack on October 16th, 1996.
No.
He had been driving his car in Burbank when he was stricken and was involved in a rear-end collision. Bernard was rushed to Providence St. Joseph Medical Center in Burbank, where he died.
Oh, how old was he?
I did not write that down. I do not know.
I had a friend. He was a young guy. He was born in 38 and died in 96. So
38 to 96, meaning he was
only 60.
No, he wasn't even 68. He was 58.
Jesus Christ.
Really?
Yeah, 58.
Oh my God.
He died at 58.
58.
That is so young. That is such a shame. Well, I get it. There was a friend of mine.
God, that means he was only in his 40s when he did this movie.
Yeah.
Sorry, I was just occurred. He was younger than me in this movie.
There was a friend of mine I did a documentary with, and he was driving his Ford Probe. And you remember back in the day they had those automatic seatbelts, but you had to latch the
lap belt.
The lap belt, and if you didn't latch the lap belt, it was actually more dangerous than wearing no seatbelt. And same thing, he got into an accident, shot out of the car.
Oh God!
Not through the windshield, but shot out of the window. And died of a heart attack. And he was only in his late 20s, early 30s.
Oh, my God. That's crazy.
And it's the same kind of thing. It was horrifying.
Yeah, that's
horrifying.
Awful. Selma Diamond was cast as Margot, Roger's secretary.
Yes, it's Selma Diamond.
She is so good. I love every time I see her on screen. I'm just like, oh, I need more Selma Diamond.
She is the definition of a brash broad.
Oh, my God. I love her. She's so great.
So great. So great in this, so great in Night Court. She just had that perfect delivery.
She's so good. Diamond started as a comedy writer, writing for the radio version of The Adventures of Ozzie and Harriet, before moving to writing for Sid Caesar and Imogen Coca in Your Show of Shows.
Nice.
While writing for the follow-up show, Caesar's Hour, she would earn an Emmy nomination. Diamond and Reiner became friends, leading to Reiner basing the character of Sally Rogers on the Dick Van Dyke Show after her.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Diamond might be most well known to Gen Xers as bailiff Selma Hacker on Night Court starting in 1984.
Also, Carl, you could have given her the part.
Yeah, I know, yeah. Well, she wasn't... she was not the most attractive woman.
Well, neither was the actor who played...
I don't know.
I mean, not that she wasn't, but she was very mannish, the actor that...
Right. Is Sally Rogers, is she the one that sings? Like, does the...
No.
Because I've literally only watched the pilot episode of the Dick Van Dyke Show.
Rosemary
is the... Oh, yeah.
Rosemary and Maury Amsterdam. They played the two writers on the show. They were both great, but... Yeah, I mean, it wasn't like she was a bombshell or anything. No.
No.
Because she was a writer, they made her more plain.
It's possible at this point she just wasn't acting at this point.
I know. I'm just teasing.
Yeah,
I'm just teasing.
yeah.
I love Rosemary. She was brilliant in the part, by the way.
Yeah. Sadly, Diamond, who was a heavy smoker, died from lung cancer on May 13th, 1985, at the age of 64.
Yeah, that was very sad. And
Yeah.
she was doing Night Court at the time.
Yeah, she did maybe 2 seasons of Night Court, and then she died.
And then they brought on Roz, right?
Yep, they brought on Roz. It was sad, though. I loved Selma Diamond. She's so good.
I do, too.
Eric Christmas was cast as Fred Hoskins, Terry's father.
Nice.
A short little British guy. Christmas is best known for playing Mr. Carter in the movie Porky's in 1981. He would reprise the role in 1983 with Porky's 2, the sequel, and again in 1985 in Porky's Revenge.
Porky's Revenge. Get porked.
Yeah. He had a memorable bit part in Harold and Maude as a priest, going on a long tangent to Harold about how his affair makes him want to vomit.
Oh, God, it was so funny. Oh, my. You've seen Harold and Maude, right? Ah, Jesus. I love that movie so much. But yes, that was so brilliant.
So great.
He is such a great actor because he's got this little voice. It seems like he's just a little...
He just seems like a little leprechaun.
I'm a very sweet little man. And especially in this, what did I go wrong with my daughter?
Yeah.
What did I do wrong with her?
He also appeared in the films
Monty Walsh, The Andromeda Strain, Johnny Got His Gun, The Last Tycoon, An Enemy of the People, Attack of the Killer Tomatoes, The Changeling, Middle Age Crazy, The Philadelphia Experiment, Bugsy, Almost Dead, Air Bud, and his final feature, Mouse Hunt.
Christmas also appeared on TV, including
Columbo, Adventures in Rainbow County, Due South, ER, Misfits of Science, Night Court, The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, Wise Guy, Seinfeld, Cheers, Home Improvement, Coach, The Golden Palace, The X-Files, Booker, Matlock, Walker, Texas Ranger, Roseanne, L.A. Law, Major Dad, Ellie McBeal, and Amen.
I totally forgot Amen existed
Yeah, me
until
too.
I read this.
Sherman Hemsley, baby.
I know.
He's moving on up to heaven.
Just him dancing, just dancing.
He's a dancer. Oh, I love him.
Sadly, Christmas died on July 22nd, 2000, from natural causes at the age of 84.
All right, natural causes. Get behind that. Go to sleep. Don't wake up. That's the lottery, baby. That's the death lottery.
Yeah, you never hear about anybody dying of natural causes when they're not asleep.
Well,
Can you imagine just walking around and suddenly, just,
what are natural causes anyway?
I don't know.
We have to look
Your
that
heart
up.
just gives out.
My heart's given out years ago.
Well, yeah. What heart? What are you talking about?
Thank you.
Oh, but hey.
Monty Walsh. He also was a guy that could. He didn't just play these little little characters.
Yeah.
The Andromeda Strain. He was amazing. Attack of the Killer Tomatoes. I mean, the fact that he had such a varied career.
Yeah.
Was some of the biggest.
He was in everything. Like, he was so good.
Just a great character actor, one of those little Irish guys that comes in.
He's so good that I was convinced during the movie that he was one of the Irish guys in Only the Lonely, but he was not. It was like, oh.
You're very bigoted when it comes to Irish people. They all look alike to you, all the Irish. A bunch of red-haired jerks.
A bunch of leprechauns. Gaylord Sartrain was cast as Fulton Norris.
Ooh, Fulton Norris.
Sartrain has appeared in more than 40 motion pictures, most notably as
The Big Bopper, The Buddy Holly Story, Sheriff Ray Stuckey in Mississippi Burning, The Outsiders, The Hollywood Nights, Fried Green Tomatoes, The Replacements as offensive assistant coach Leo Polichowski, The Big Easy, The Grifters, Getting Even with Dad, The Patriot, and an uncredited role in the 1984 comedy Wagons East starring John Candy and Richard Lewis.
Yeah, Wagons East.
Oh, the one that killed John Candy.
Barf.
He
was the band leader in this, if I remember correctly.
Yes, he was. With his pedophile mustache. He was awesome.
Awful, weird pedophile mustache. Ugh.
He was great, though. He was always great. Another solid guy. You don't know his name, but whenever he's on screen, he does his job perfectly.
Total speed bump, but when I was in down San Diego, I went to a museum and they had a thing about cannibals.
Yeah.
And they had the opening, the front was all these movies and like TV shows, with like something like one of them was playing the scene from It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia where they're convincing each other to eat human flesh.
Yeah.
And it was funny because they thought they had, and they were like, well, we have to go eat it to see if it's the same. And he's like, but then what if we're addicted to it after that? Anyway, but they had all these posters, and the one that stuck out that I totally forgot was Fried Green Tomatoes. Yeah, she literally murders and cooks the ex-husband of one of the other characters and then feeds them to the detectives that are trying to figure out who murdered this guy.
I need to watch this movie. I remember really liking
totally
this movie.
forgot that ended the movie. That was the end of the movie, was them literally cannibalism. I was like, immediately, we're sitting there, I had to look it up because I was like, what?
So what you're saying is fried green tomatoes is slang for people meat.
Apparently.
Let's have some fried green tomato.
I was so shocked, but I was definitely like, immediately I was like, I have to watch this again.
Yeah, I don't remember that movie very well. The Mary Stuart Masterson from
Yes.
that awful John Hughes movie we were talking about is in that.
It's Some Kind of Wonderful.
Yes.
Yeah.
It all comes back to Some Kind of Wonderful.
Sartain was also in a deleted scene in The Jerk in 1979. We talked about this in our Jerk episode where he is a billionaire and is trying to get them to fix the leather in his seats of his plane.
Yes.
Yeah. He's also known for his roles in 3 of the Ernest P. Worrell films starring Jim Varney. And now, realizing who he is, it makes total sense.
Hey, Vern.
Yeah.
Is he Vern?
No, he was not Vern. He was in Ernest Goes to Camp in 1987, Ernest Saves Christmas in 1988, and Ernest Goes to Jail in 1990. All 3 movies we'll be covering in our Ernest month later this year.
I like Jim Varney.
I was never. There was goofy, stupid movies, but I mean, yeah.
I was never an Ernest fan.
Yeah.
Then they wasn't it started as commercials?
Yeah.
Hey, Vern,
he
you gotta
was.
buy
He
something.
was. He started as like hawking products.
Yeah.
It was like a local, regional thing, and then he got super popular.
Right. So yeah, but he was really good in not a good movie, but he was good in the Beverly Hillbillies movie.
Oh yeah, that's right. That's right.
Whenever he de-Verned himself, he was pretty
Yeah.
good. He was a pretty good actor. It's just
Ernest himself.
what did I say?
De-Verned himself.
He had to get rid of Vern too.
Well, yeah.
but yeah, when he de-Ernested himself, didn't they do Ernest Goes to Hell too?
No. There was the.
No, that's just real life.
No, there was one where he goes to prison,
Right.
and then I believe there was one more after that where they finally realized that nobody cared anymore.
Ernest Goes to Bankruptcy.
Ernest goes to the theater to watch other people's movies.
Ernest Goes into Obscurity.
Yeah, there you go. Sartain was also in the Hey Vern, It's Ernest television series that ran for 1 season in 1988.
There was a
There was a TV show.
no idea.
I'm 100% positive you can find it on YouTube somewhere.
God, I don't want to.
His final film role was in 2005 in Cameron Crowe's Elizabethtown. Sartain has since retired, but he's still kicking around at the age of 78.
Good. It's nice to hear that some of them are still alive.
Yeah. Neva Patterson was cast as Gretchen. She's been acting since the 40s. Gen Xers will remember her from Cagney and Lacey and the V miniseries and its sequel, V the Final Battle.
Right.
Appearing with Jason Bernard.
Yes.
Yeah. She also made appearances in...
Maude, Family, Ironside, Charlie's Angels, SWAT, Barnaby Jones, The Dukes of Hazzard, The Waltons, The Rockford Files, In the Heat of the Night, and St. Elsewhere.
On December 14th, 2010, Patterson died from complications from a broken hip at the age of 90.
God damn, man. To get to the age where a fall is going to kill you,
It's ridiculous.
it's fright. My mom
Yeah.
broke her back.
Yeah. Fell
You know,
down. Just fell down.
Yeah. Hit a curb, rainy day,
Fell down.
fell on her
yeah.
butt, and boom. You
Yeah.
know? But
It's-
she can walk and everything now. She's better.
Yeah,
But still, it's so...
that's scary as hell.
Yeah, I mean, that's your biggest fear when you get older is falling.
Yeah.
As soon as you break a hip, baby, it's like a horse breaking a leg.
You potentially could die.
Because that's where you get the pneumonia. Because
Yeah.
the problem is, you go to the hospital's filled with germs,
Yeah.
and that's where you die.
Yeah.
There's a reason why most people die in a hospital, Adam.
Is because the hospitals kill you.
Yeah, staph infections,
Yeah.
pneumonia, germs.
They fixed the wrong hip by accident.
Idiots, all of them.
Michael Ensign was cast as Mr. Mifflin, also one of her handlers, who had the greatest part of just looking at Steve Martin like he was insane all the time.
My favorite part is he's like, walk like a man. And he's like, oh, and he starts to try to
And
like,
Swish those hips.
He was a very effeminate
Yeah.
actor who played a lot of gay parts. I don't know if he was gay in real life.
I don't think so.
Maybe not.
Maybe not.
But he was a lot of times the prissy, wow.
Yeah,
you know.
very, very highfalutin, very hoity-toity.
Think of a haberdashery owner in a very perfectly pressed suit who is put upon by anybody who has bad manners or
could not even deal with you right now.
It's very snotty, but so good at being snotty.
Yeah, so good. He's most well known for playing Benjamin Guggenheim in Titanic in 1997.
Oh, yeah.
If you remember that. Ensign also made appearances in
Superman, Pink Floyd, The Wall, War Games, Ghostbusters, Dr. Hackenstein, Solaris, Bringing Down the House, Down with Love, and Seabiscuit.
Ensign's television appearances include
Boston Legal, Three's Company, Alias, Monk, Jag, CSI, Crime Scene Investigation, Star Trek Enterprise, The X-Files, Friends, Star Trek Voyager, Star Trek Deep Space Nine, Star Trek The Next Generation, MacGyver, Dynasty, Falcon Crest, MASH, The A-Team, Dukes of Hazzard, The Winds of War, and Dream West.
His last credit is in 2018 in the sitcom Living Biblically. If you remember that sitcom or not.
No.
Yeah. He's still around. He just hasn't worked in like 5 or 6 years. He's still around at the age of 81.
Great. And you totally recognize him.
Oh,
he's
yeah.
a guy
He's such a discernible character actor.
And it was a staple for like the last 40 years.
That little like toothbrush mustache.
Yes.
Or not toothbrush, but like...
It's a little mustache. It's not brushy, a petty mustache.
Brushy. Yeah.
It's just it's like a little bushier than the pedophile mustache.
Yeah.
It's more of a dandy mustache.
But he wore his entire career.
Yes. Yeah. Well, it was part of his whole persona. He played what he played perfectly.
Oh, he was great. He's so good. He's so good. The Cutwater Mansion, seen in the film is the 1928 built Greystone Manor, which is the largest private residence ever constructed in Beverly Hills, and the site of a murder in the Teapot Dome scandal.
Really?
Yeah, Doheny. Do you remember this?
Yes.
I did a tour, and the only reason I know this is because I did a tour of the Greystone Mansion, Greystone Manor. Sorry, and they did like a live, like interactive, like recreation, like drama of it. But the whole thing was the Teapot Dome scandal had to do with Hawaii and stealing oil from Hawaiians, and essentially Doheny's son, who we have a street here in LA named after him, Doheny's son and his son's best friend, quote unquote,
lover.
Technically I think he was his secretary or something, but they had just come back from Washington.
That was code for lover,
yes,
secretary.
They had come back from Washington, and then there was a murder-suicide. And they claim that the official release was that the secretary got mad about some pay and then murdered the Doheny son and then killed himself. But they proved later that Doheny killed him first and then shot himself.
Wow.
So they're pretty sure that they were gay lovers.
Okay.
And got really wrapped up in this whole thing, and it just turned the Teapot Dome scandal into this huge, like, now there's murder involved.
Huge scandal?
Yeah, scandal.
The Teapot Dome scandal.
Scandal,
yeah, man, so sad.
Yeah.
The whole closeted thing, this is what it leads to.
Yeah.
You know, people not being able to live who they are.
Yeah.
And be who they are. It drives them insane.
The really thing, and the thing I didn't know this, is that it happened 4 months after they moved into the manor, after it got built. Can you imagine building the entire place, and then 4 months later it's like, well, my son murdered somebody and then killed himself in this house. I gotta leave now.
That's ruined.
Yeah. Anyway, Teapot Dome scandal was fascinating. It was a fascinating time of our history.
It's also got a very fun title. The Teapot Dome scandal.
It is.
It's like the Holly Smoot tariff.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
These neat little names for horrible things.
Weird random fact. Lily Tomlin was born on the same day as the Nazi German invasion of Poland, September 1st, 1939, which kickstarted World War II. And Steve Martin was born on VJ Day, August 14th, 1945, which is when Japan surrendered, which effectively ended World War II. I just thought it was interesting that they were both born at the beginning and end of World War II.
It's crazy.
It's weird.
Yeah.
It's just a weird little fact.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why didn't she serve?
She was one.
Well, that's no excuse.
Well, two, I guess. Why didn't your mom serve?
My mom did serve.
Okay.
She was a whack.
Wow. When she was like 3?
2.
Okay.
She was very...
She was the first one to line up and be like, I'm doing this.
cranky little whack, but she was a whack.
She was a whack. Nap. When the first cut of the film was submitted to the MPAA, it received one of the earliest PG-13 ratings.
Interesting.
Yeah, the studio wanted a PG rating, so several cuts were made to get the rating. Early posters still carry the original PG-13 rating.
I wonder why. I wonder...
I don't know what could have been... I mean, I can't imagine there would be, like, nudity or...
Well, no, I think
it's swearing or something.
Well, the sex scene got a little... it was funny with the... There's probably more jokes about putting the peen in and stuff.
Yeah,
But-
or maybe it was talking about the penis and stuff. Like maybe when she was taking the wee.
But at this point, this isn't a kids film.
No,
You know, like 8-year-olds aren't going to
No.
be running to see this. I don't see the difference between a PG and PG-13 at this point.
I think that at this point the PG-13 was so new.
Yeah.
and I think a lot of the executives were scared that it would cause people to not go.
So
It's
silly.
like, no, you can bring your family to this. It's fine. You know, I mean, like,
But
I don't know.
just dumb to me. This is why executives are morons. Morons!
I agree. They are very dumb. All of Me was a slight precursor to the spate of body-switching swapping movies that came in the late 80s.
The best of the bunch. The best of the bunch.
Vice Versa, starring Judge Reinhold and Fred Savage.
That one was actually pretty good because both Judge Reinhold and Fred Savage are good actors. Fred Savage did a great job being the adult.
Also had very good source material. I didn't know this. Again, went down a weird rabbit hole with these movies. It was the 4th version of the book that it adapted, which was written in like 1890, which was so weird.
It is weird.
I was like, there were like 2 that were made in like the 20s and 30s.
But I think out of all of these, Judge Reinhold did such a good job of playing a kid.
Yeah, yeah.
He was good at being the kid. And that's where you live or you die. That's why the Shazam sequel was so horrible.
Right.
Because he's playing, there's basically the same character.
Yeah.
Kid's a teenager, and he's like, hey, I'm just a guy. And then when Zachary Levi, the brilliant actor,
right.
he's like, I'm 4 years old. I'm going to play it like a baby boy.
Yeah.
It's
Like, I don't know what anything is.
Did you even meet this actor before you started?
No.
Zachary Levi?
No, of course not.
Ugh, he's always, oh, please, I'm going on Twitter. Please like my movies.
Yeah.
Please stop being mean to me.
There was also 18 again, starring George Burns and Charlie Schlatter.
Yeah, it's 18 again.
Yeah.
That one was fine.
It was fun. It was fine. It was innocuous.
Yeah.
I mean, whatever.
It was more the kid than George Burns. It wasn't
Yeah.
a lot of George Burns, like,
Yeah.
dancing and stuff.
Also, Like Father, Like Son, starring Dudley Moore and Kirk Cameron.
Dudley Moore was great. Kirk Cameron wasn't bad,
It was before he went crazy.
but Dudley Moore, comic genius. He was in so many bad movies toward the end of his career.
He was.
It's so
He was
sad.
Very disappointing.
Very much, because that guy, again, much like Steve Martin, brilliant musician,
Yeah.
brilliant actor, brilliant writer, just one of those guys. Cook and Peter Cook, was it Peter Cook that he was the partner with?
I think so. That sounds right.
Their comedy, another guy that had like 6 different careers before
Yeah,
he even
yeah.
had his big career.
Right.
But in 10 and in...
He's a great actor. Yeah, he's
just
fascinating.
amazing.
Fascinating.
Just really good as a put-upon dude.
Yeah.
And we talk about him a lot in Foul Play. He was so amazing in that.
Good in that. He was so good in that. So funny. And of course, there was Big, starring Tom Hanks, which was by far the most successful of these 4 movies.
Well, you're forgetting the best one of the bunch, Adam.
Which one's that?
Dream a Little Dream, with Corey Haim and Corey Feldman and Don Amici and the other guy from Cocoon.
Yeah, in fact, I have forgotten about that because I totally do not realize that movie existed.
Oh, my God. Talk about, like... Oh, this was at the height of the Corey's fame.
Yeah.
And when they really, like, had their attitudes of, like, we're the most in the world.
We're amazing. Look how cool we are.
Poor Don Amici and God, but the other guy, he was also in Cocoon. The actual old dude, not diabetes guy.
Not diabetes.
Hume Cronin, I think.
Cronin? Okay.
Hume Cronin.
Hume Cronin. Yeah, that actually sounds right.
But I think it was those 2 guys and then the Coreys.
Right.
And all I remember is this weird dancing scene, and the Coreys sucked.
Yeah. I don't think I've ever seen it.
Well, we're going to cover it.
Great.
When I do our Coreys
Our
month.
Corey's month.
Yeah.
Long as we get to cover License to Drive.
Yeah, baby.
Yeah.
Or that weird, super sexual movie with the girl from Charles in Charge. It was just like, ew. Yeah, it was a super nudie sex movie with the Coreys. And it was when they were starting to do B movies because the heroin was getting too bad for them to do A movies. Oh, that thing was disturbo-rooney.
Yeah.
Nothing watching, your favorite kid star is doing it. It's softcore pornography.
Steve Martin and Lily Tomlin were both nominated for Golden Globes for their roles in All of Me, with Martin losing to Dudley Moore for Mickey and Maude, and Tomlin losing to Kathleen Turner for Romancing the Stone.
I get it, but no. I think both of their performances were brilliant.
Yeah. I mean, I can't begrudge Kathleen Turner because Romancing the Stone was amazing.
And she was amazing.
She was great in
amazing,
that.
Yeah.
And I don't know Mickey and Maude, so
Romancing the Stone was such a revelation because everybody thought that they knew who Kathleen Turner was.
Right.
And then she did this part and proved everybody wrong.
Yeah, she's so good.
Brilliant. I love her so much.
Yeah. The movie had positive reviews from the critics and made over $36 million at the box office. Sadly, like we said earlier, Steve Martin and Carl Reiner did not work together again after this film, with their careers taking different paths. Reiner would only direct a handful of more movies before retiring, citing that he was just getting old.
Yeah.
A couple of interviews he's done, they flat out asked him, "Why'd you stop directing?" He was like, "I was old. I just wasn't as fast as I used to be, so I stopped."
It's hard. Directing is not only physically demanding, it's extremely mentally demanding.
Yeah.
If you're doing it right. And he's a guy that is a hands-on director. He's not a Brett Ratner that's like, "Oh, I'll be with the strippers. Call me when the scene's over."
Brett Ratner.
Brett
Ratner.
So I get it, man. I mean, it's a lot of work for an old guy. I can't believe that Clint Eastwood still can do it in his 90s and still do amazing work.
Even more credit to Steve Martin. Even more credit to Clint Eastwood because, man, directing's hard.
And
although the way Eastwood does it is very chill.
Yeah.
And like of course he does it his way.
Yes.
But yeah, it's tough. It's tough.
But also, comedy is tougher than drama, and to keep this level of quality in your work from start to finish. Look, everybody has a couple of stinkers, but Carl Reiner, from beginning to end, was genius.
Yeah.
And even in the dumb, goofy stuff, there was always something smart, and there was always, even like Summer School.
Yeah.
Or did he do Summer Rental?
Yeah.
Yeah, in Summer Rental.
It was the movie he did right after this.
Right. He's really good at bringing out the humanity in his actors. And
Right.
the greatest asset to a comedy, especially a screwball comedy or one of these zany comedies, is the grounding of the actor. The actor has to be playing it real and has to give a true emotional performance for it to work. And luckily, with Candy and Martin, that's two of the best.
Yeah. And Mark Harmon.
And Mark Harmon. Yeah. I love Mark Harmon.
I just love Summer School. I just love that movie so much.
It's great. Isn't Pam Dauber in that? No, Kirstie Alley.
No, Kirstie Alley's in it.
He's married to Pam Dauber.
Yes. Yeah, Kirstie Alley is the other teacher
Yeah.
that he ends up romancing.
Yes.
Yeah.
The thing about him, you look at Mark Harmon, he's got no shoulders. He's all neck.
I've never really thought about it that way, but yeah.
It's the one thing that really bugged me about him. It's so superficial and weird.
It is.
But the
really
fact
is.
that he's like all neck, it's like his neck goes down to his torso and his arms are just kind of on there. I don't know. For some reason, it really bugged me. His shirt off scenes in Summer School really disturbed me.
Wow.
I was like, get some shoulders, bro.
So there were a couple of efforts to remake All of Me. New Line had the rights and was trying to develop it with Queen Latifah in the late 2000s.
Everything was Queen Latifah in the late 2000s.
It was.
Until Taxi.
Yeah. And then they
Thank you.
realized they were like, we're going to stop now.
Jimmy Fallon ruined her career. He did, literally, because she's great.
He's a career killer.
I love her, but yeah.
Yeah. DreamWorks ended up buying it and then pulled it out of turnaround in 2011. But even with bringing on Jim Carrey as a producer, the project floundered. I don't think that Jim Carrey was going to be starring in it. I think he was just a producer on it, which is weird.
If anybody could have done it, it would have been Jim Carrey.
Yeah.
You need an extremely talented physical comedian to pull
Yeah.
this off. And as much as I love Queen Latifah,
I don't think she'd be right for that.
unless she's the Lily Tomlin part.
Yeah, that's true.
know.
That's true.
Because she's got great heart and she's a great actor, but I never defined Queen Latifah as a great physical comedian.
Yeah. Yeah.
And not everybody's everything. She's an amazing singer. She's an amazing actor.
Was it Bringing Down the House she was in with Steve Martin?
Yes.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, which was great. I mean, not great, but
It was okay.
it was fine. But
yeah.
Again, it's those things. That was the time where they would pair a white guy and a black lady, but they couldn't have the romance. It was they would dance around it, but it was always like, well, we're going to help you get this white girl.
Yeah.
But you know who was amazing in Bringing Down the House was Eugene Levy.
Oh, yeah.
He stole that effing movie
Yeah.
as Queen Latifah. Hey, hot lady.
God, he's so good. He's so good. In 2015, NBC tried making the film into a TV anthology show with different people jumping into the protagonist's body to help them solve their problems, but it never went anywhere.
So what, a reverse
Quantum Leap.
Quantum Leap?
That was literally what it was going to be called, Reverse Quantum Leap.
I'm doing the reverse Quantum Leap on you.
Yeah,
That's a sex act.
It doesn't make any sense, but I get it, and I kind of understand like how that could be a good show, or
Sure.
at least an interesting show, but it would get old.
There hasn't been a body switcheroo movie that I can think of in a really long time, except for like Freaky Friday.
Which there is a sequel.
Yes.
Freakier Friday is coming out in March, I think, or August or something. I don't know.
I've been clamoring for that sequel for years.
The world needs more Jamie Lee Curtis and Lindsay Lohan together.
Definitely needs more Jamie Lee Curtis.
Yes, it does.
And good for Lindsay Lohan. I mean,
Look, man, she's had a rocky career.
I've said this before, and I'll say it again. What Lindsay Lohan, Britney Spears, all of these poor kids went through with the paparazzi and the press, just completely destroying them. Young people, kids.
Yeah.
Jesus, man, if I were under that scrutiny in my 20s, same thing, baby.
Yeah.
I mean, I was not together, you know what I mean?
Right.
And to have to go through that period in front of everybody, and everybody is judging you, and the David Letterman interview with Lindsay Lohan is abhorrent. I love Dave, but it was, it was mean. People were mean, and one of the greatest things that I remember about that period was Craig Ferguson talking about Britney Spears and saying, I will never make fun of her. Listen to me. I'll never make fun of her because I know what it's like to go through addiction, to go through that type of pain, and to only ghouls would kick somebody when they're down like that. Only horrible people would.
And they're like, these people they were all having like mental health crises.
In front of everybody.
And it's like, why are you amplifying all that?
Well, that just shows
it's awful.
The absolute scummery of the paparazzi is watching this child melt down and have a complete breakdown in front of you and encouraging it.
Britney Spears, like, shaving her head at a gas station, like, maybe 5 blocks from here. Like, it was crazy.
And they're just like, oh, this is great.
Oh, we got it. Oh, God.
It's disgusting.
It's my least favorite thing about Hollywood.
Me too. And luckily, we're not that bad anymore. It seems like better about, gleefully celebrating the demise of
a little more respectful
people.
Yeah.
But still, I mean, there's still gossip rags and stuff that are, that are just amplifying this bullshit. And it's disgusting. But I will always... respect Craig Ferguson for that. And I got to meet him when I did Celebrity Name Game. Super sweet dude.
Super nice guy.
Gave me a hug when I won.
Oh, that's nice.
And we made love.
Okay, all right.
In my mind.
Thanks for listening. So I love like the body switching movies, body switching movies, like all that stuff. Like I love that genre.
Yeah.
And this is the best example of that.
It truly is. I think this month has shown me, because it's been a long time. Mm-hmm. And Steve Martin has gone through so many changes in his career and, became more of like the elder statesman of comedy or, a icon.
Yeah.
Rightly so. But going back and revisiting these movies that I loved as a kid, absolutely loved the Carl Reiner, Steve Martin thing. They hold up. And he is truly, truly one of the greatest comedic actors to ever live.
Yeah.
I'd put him up there with Keaton. I would put him up there with Pauly Shore. I would put him up there with...
maybe Pauly Shore, maybe.
Well, it's no in the Army.
I mean, honestly, for me, it really is like number 3 is Steve Martin, number 2 is Pauly Shore, number 1, Bill Cosby.
Carrot Top.
He's 1A.
Bill Cosby. But not for the comedy. I'm not a fan of his comedy.
Oh, my God.
It's his personal life.
I really like how he treats women. That is my favorite thing about him.
Oh, good Lord.
God. Awful.
This, you got to see this movie if you haven't seen it.
It's so good. It is so good.
I need to put all of these movies in the collection because if you're in a bad mood or you just need to pick me up or you just want to watch something that is going to put a smile on your face, give you the gigs, these are the movies for it.
Yeah.
They're unabashedly, unapologetically goofy, funny, silly, but smart.
But so smart.
Yes. And like I said, my favorite thing is smart, dumb comedy because it is the hardest thing to do. And you can tell between the two of these guys that comedy is almost like a problem that needs to be fixed, or almost it is a journey, or it's an investigation, or
riddle that needs to be solved.
Thank you. Yeah. Yes, and I think that they put so much into it. The fact that it's gag after gag after gag, and you don't get exhausted by it.
No,
because
no.
So many of these movies are just, quotey quotes, laugh after laugh or joke after joke. It's relentless. It's not that funny. It's beating a dead horse. There's never a horse that gets beat in any of these movies.
No.
No joke outstays its welcome.
Right.
Nothing seems too long, and it quickly moves on to something else. If you don't find one thing funny, you're going to find the next thing funny, that's for sure. And these guys were brilliant. It's so weird to me that they never made another movie.
I don't know why. I don't know if I'm gonna say that it probably just careers, diverted on their paths and.
Yeah, because if you look at kind of what Steve Martin did after this movie, he was moving away from the screwball comedies for a while. Like he said, it was the end of his. It was the beginning of his
kind of more serious, serious-ish.
But less wild and crazy guy concept comedies, or high concept comedies, which he did a lot of. So, maybe he moved on, and maybe Reiner was like, "Look, man, I'm getting tired."
I would say that probably has a lot to do with it. Is that he, because he did. I mean, he did after this was Summer Rental, which came out in '85.
Right.
So I mean, he did 4 movies like back to back to back, and he was in his 60s at that point. So it's like I imagine it's pretty tired. But then I think Summer School was '87. And then he slowed down. He did maybe 4 more movies after that.
Well, and also if you look at Summer Rental and Summer School, they're smaller movies. They're less high concept.
Yeah, they're more slice of life.
Yeah, more just easy going, easy breezy.
Yeah.
Not a ton of moving parts, and you could basically one location or 2 locations, and get your stuff done. And then Steve Martin, of course, I think Steve was ready to move on with his career and try something new. He was never a guy to, like we said, rest on his laurels and just coast on what he was, because he could have done Wild and Crazy Guy for the next 25 years. He could have been the greatest stand-up forever. But I think he dominated stand-up, so it's time to move on.
Yeah.
Dominated screwy comedies, so it's time to move on. I think once he got the most he could get out of it, it probably wasn't as interesting to him.
Yeah. I think he has a strong desire to reinvent himself because he does. I think he gets bored by stuff. I mean, I totally get that.
Yeah, and I think he has just a mind that is thirsting for something new, or a mind that is thirsting to challenge itself.
Yeah.
And maybe I should try to write a play. You're going to write a totally goofy blobby play? No, I'm going to write a very esoteric and thought-provoking play.
Yeah.
Something that would, be a good companion piece to Waiting for Godot, which was basically kind of based on the same thing. But I'm really glad that we watched these movies, because it's so funny with Steve Martin, because his career is so kind of compartmentalized.
Yeah.
That we kind of forget how great he was at certain things. When we did Three Amigos, it was like, holy shit.
Yeah. So brilliant.
And these, more than any other group of his films, I think show off his range and his ability, because having to act against a jar, or having to act against himself, or having to act against, a PA standing in for Humphrey Bogart, and nailing it, the man is a genius. And I think for a lot of his career, he was mislabeled as, a dumb, goofy comedian or a dumb guy, and maybe that got to him.
Yeah.
So he had to,
So then he wrote Picasso,
Right.
Sheila.
People call me a dumb guy too, so I just bought a lot of paintings. I didn't do anything.
I became Frankenstein.
Yeah, Frankenstein.
I could go on and on. I love Steve Martin so much. If you're a Steve Martin fan or a fan of comedy, these movies are for you.
Yeah.
100%. And it just makes me want to watch everything that he's done. We got to do another month this year with L.A. Story and Bowfinger.
Yeah.
We'll do the Hollywood. That's the thing with him. We could do 10 different theme months, and they'd all be completely different.
Yeah, that's true.
The same with Carl
Very
Reiner.
true. All right, we'll be back next week. We're going to do our stepdad show, talk some more about Steve's Hot Carl.
Yeah, baby. And we're gonna
every time I say that, it just is like, ew.
We're gonna have an interesting discussion about second playthroughs on video games.
Yeah, it'll be good.
It'll be a fun show. And
we'll see you then.
Until then, Edwina Beckenbull. But it's in Lily Tomlin too. My God, her character arc, her emotional. I'm freaking out.
Yeah.
I think the older crowd is just criminally underrated when it comes criminally under Matlock. What is wrong with me? Matlock. The replacements as officer assistant coach Leo Placha.
Dude, just say the replacements. You have to add in the name.
What is it? Plakowski. I want to say it. The replacements as offensive assistant coach Leo Plachowski. We now return you to your regularly scheduled programming. Barney Miller, already in progress.